Hello, my name is Jason JROCK Houston. You guys are listening to an interview being done for Under Influence. My great pleasure to be speaking with Timmy Lee Roth, who is the lead singer of a great new Van Halen tribute band based out of Los Angeles and Orange County. And you guys haven't even played your first show yet, so how are you doing tonight? And I guess I should say the Van Halen tribute is named As Is, which is, of course, a great song off the latest Van Halen album, A Different Kind of Truth. So with no further ado, how are you doing tonight, Timmy?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you tonight, Jason?
I'm doing great. Now, I assume, like a lot of other musicians I interviewed for this, that you've probably done your own original music thing for several years. So talk a little bit about the decision to form a Van Halen tribute, and is this the first tribute act you've been a part of?
You know what? This is the first tribute act that I've ever been a part of. I'm a big rock and roll, heavy metal fan, big Van Halen fan, and I've always wanted to do something like this. I've always been a singer. I was in choir when I was younger, when I was a kid.
Okay.
And I could hold a note, and a lot of my buddies, they would be in bands and stuff, and I would sing, just messing around, and they would egg me on, saying, "Man, you got to do this, you got to do this." And you know what? I just really never did it. I've been, I'm a professional person. I pretty much have a 9-to-5 job, except it's really not a 9-to-5 job. It's really like a 60-hour-a-week job. It takes a lot of time.
Wow.
And this is basically just a release.
Wow.
For me, this is something that I probably should have done a long time ago, but it's okay. The time is now, and we're here to stay.
It sounds like you're a guy that doesn't have a lot of musical background as far as being a guy that's been in a lot of bands. So this must kind of be really exciting to finally be getting this off the ground.
You know what? It is. I played drums since I was 10 years old. My dad was a California State drum champ.
Wow.
1960, 1961. The judge was Buddy Rich.
Wow.
And my dad was the number one state champ in 1960 and 1961. So there is a musical root that runs in the family. It basically runs on my grandmother's side.
Okay.
And on my dad's side as well. I play a little bit of guitar, but I'm more of a natural singer.
Oh, cool.
I can keep a beat on the drums. I can play guitar, rhythm just fine. But I'm more of a singer.
I love that. I love hearing that because so many of these legendary guys. I know guys like Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. Even I've heard Janie Lane, who's the lead singer of Warren. These are guys that start out as drummers, and then later on they decide to put down the sticks and kind of become the frontman. So. What was that like for meeting a guy that had played the drums previously to, now being the frontman, the guy front and center?
You know what? I've always, to tell you the truth, I don't mind being at the front and center and stuff. I'm always, I'm kind of a little bit of a wild man.
Yeah.
I definitely have a wild streak in me.
Yeah.
And I don't mind being the front man. I'm not shy.
Okay.
One thing for sure, I am not shy. Just ask my wife.
Yeah.
She will tell you. But I'm that guy that will walk up to a homeless person, give them $5 and strike up a conversation with them just to make them feel like they're human.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow, that is cool. That is cool. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is, drummers are typically, the guy in the band, in the back, behind everybody else on the stage. And, so that must be kind of an interesting feeling from going to a guy that's, all the way in the back of the stage to, behind all the other players in the band to being front and center. Because unless you're a drummer like, Carmine Appice or like even John Bonham, who are real physical players and they're all over the place. A lot of times, drummers typically just sit in the back of the stage, kind of just keep a beat. So it's kind of interesting. What have those two worlds been like for you?
Playing drums and stuff. It's like keeping a beat. Never had a problem keeping a beat.
Yeah.
and stuff. But like I said, when I do play drums, you definitely know that I'm there.
Yeah. Okay. I hear you.
Which like means power.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm more of a. Like I said, I just seem to feel a little more comfortable being the front man.
Okay. Well, I say go with whatever works now. I guess the next logical question is, if you could share with us, what was the point in your life when you first discovered the music of Van Halen? What was the first song, the first album?
Oh man, the first album, I'll never forget this. It was basically 1978.
Okay, wow, going all the way back to the very beginning.
And I was in this transition period. See, I grew up with music. I grew up with Jimi Hendrix. I grew up with Chicago. I grew up with Deodata, with Buddy Rich and stuff, and that all came from my dad. And I remember I was kind of trying to find myself at that young age. I was about 12 years old.
Okay.
And I was trying to find myself. Excuse me. I was trying to find myself as, at kind of like my place in life as far as like what I liked and what genre and stuff. I was all over the map. And I still love music all over the map. I'm not a one-dimensional guy when it comes to music. I listen to everything.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, if you check out my iPod, I'm all over the map.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that.
Anyways, what happened is, I liked Led Zeppelin, and I liked Kiss.
Wow, yeah.
And I also liked a lot of the stuff that was coming out because New Wave was starting to come out. There was Devo, there was the B-52s, there was a lot of these New Wave bands coming out. And I remember my mom and dad went to Hawaii, and the people that took care of us, the husband of this gal, he was in a band and he played at night.
Okay.
And I was helping him learn a couple of new songs by playing on the drums.
Oh,
and
wow.
Here I am, this 12-year-old kid, and I'm doing the drums while he plays his Gibson Les Paul, and I'm trying to show him how to do Still Rock and Roll to Me by Billy Joel.
Wow.
Devo, and then Rock Lobster. So I'm doing the drums so he can practice. And this is something that I did like after school, so we would jam for about an hour and everything. So anyways, what happened is the guy had this Van Halen cassette.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, I'll trade you your B-52s album for this tape. And I go, what's Van Halen? And he goes, don't worry about it. You're going to love it.
Wow.
So anyway,
wow.
I remember plugging it in, and when Eruption came on, I basically ran out the door with my ghetto blaster, little mini General Electric ghetto blaster, with the tape in hand, with that above my arms, running up and down the street so my friends could hear it, freaking out, going, oh my God, have you heard this? Oh my God. And we sat there, and we must have listened to Eruption 50 times.
Wow.
And we were just all staring at each other.
Oh, yeah.
Just in like disbelief, like, what the hell was that? Well, guess what?
What?
Kiss went out the door, and Van Halen was the band for me. And like right there, Van Halen was a big part of my childhood. I can tell you where I was through life, and I can tell you
wow.
songs that like pretty much gave me, like showed me the way through life. Just
wow.
Musically and everything, where it was, and all these great times that were in my life, and like Van Halen was just a real big part of it. Party band, me, I like to party, life's a party, and you're all invited.
Wow. How cool is that? And as far as, you guys trading tapes, I'd say you got the better end of a deal than your friend, but that's just my personal opinion there. But
oh yeah.
talk about
without a doubt, without a doubt.
Now, talk about that first album. I mean, okay, we've got over Eruption, but I mean, that's one album. Like in my collection, a lot of people's collection. You put that album on, and there's really not a bad track on it. I mean, I like to say
there is not a bad.
I like to say it's all killer and no filler. I mean,
completely from top to bottom. One song that we like to jam on, and it just goes crazy, and that's "I'm the One."
Oh, I love that.
We're just like we are just like flying around when we're doing that.
Yeah.
And today we must have done that probably about 2 or 3 times, and we nailed it each time, and it was just crazy. But like Ice Cream Man, Feel Your Love,
that's
Little Dreamer, the whole thing from like top to bottom. There isn't a bad song on that album. In fact, every Van Halen album, to me, is really in the Roth era.
Yeah.
The Roth era, for me, was Van Halen. Once Sammy came in, I think they kind of got a little bit of bubblegum, and they kind of got soft.
Yeah. Well,
I just didn't like the edge as much.
Yeah.
Roth brought a whole different edge to it. It was like, I don't know, it was just an attitude.
Yeah, it's like, and like you said, I love every single track on that album. And the interesting thing is, most of those tunes are still in the Van Halen set list. If you think about it. And then, one of the greatest songs off there that I really get off on is, like you're saying, "Feel Your Love Tonight." I mean, that's just such a great track, and I really always, that's one of my all-time favorite Van Halen tracks.
They have been playing that this year on tour for the first time in a long time, and they nailed it. I saw them in July over here in Irvine. My wife, for my birthday, she surprised me with the tickets, and we were right there, man, 10th row.
Wow,
it was crazy.
Yeah, and but the one thing I'll say, is Dave. I think does not get the credit he deserves. He's very. I say underrated. I mean, I don't know if he's really. People are saying that he's not singing like he used to, but he's an original guy. And to me, he's more than just a lead singer. He's an entertainer, if you know what I mean. He brings that little extra element to the picture, I think.
Right here, hold on one
second. Oh, sure. Okay, yeah. I was just talking a little bit about Timmy Lee Roth.
Michael Anthony.
Yeah.
I got a little story about Michael Anthony.
Oh, please do.
Michael Anthony, I bumped into Michael Anthony when I was 17 years old. I lived in Huntington Harbor at the time.
Wow.
And my friend down the street, a girl, she knew that I was a big Van Halen fan.
Yeah.
And I was just minding my own business, and she comes to the door. She goes, "Tim, some guy from Van Halen's out here." And I'm like, "Get out of here." And she goes, "I swear to God, he's walking back from the beach," because we just lived like right across Greenbelt.
Wow.
Over there in Huntington Harbor. So I get on my bike, and I got my Van Halen shirt on, and this is about 3 weeks before the US Festival.
Wow.
Now, I went to the US Festival, okay?
Wow.
So anyways, what happened is I'm riding my bike, and I got my Diver Down album. And lo and behold, there he is, walking up the street with his wife and some dude. And I was stunned. And I just rode my bike up to him, and I go, "Oh my God, Michael Anthony, I'm a big fan." And he looks at me and goes, "I can tell you're wearing my shirt." And he signed the back of my Diver Down album, and it says, "Tim, get crazy with us at the US Festival, Michael Anthony."
Wow! How
is that crazy or what, man?
How cool is that? And to think, all these years later, you're starting up this band as is. Now let's talk a little more about the band. So how did you? Is this your band that you formed, Tim? I kind of get that feeling. How did you find the other guys?
Me, and the guitar player, Davey Van Sampen. We formed the band, and what's kind of funny is he ran an ad on Craigslist, and he was selling some of his guitars, and he had this Wolfgang, and it was a Maple Burst Wolfgang 5150 guitar, and I went to his house, and I walked in his house, studio, and there was guitars everywhere.
Wow.
And he had a bunch of shred guitars. I mean, you think I got a lot of guitars? I got 14 guitars.
Oh, wow.
I has triple
Wow.
the guitars. So he was selling like some of his guitars, and I bought that one, and he had a full studio set up, and we started talking and everything, and he was asking me, if I play guitar, and I'm like, well, of course I do, but I don't know, it looks like you're probably a much better guitar player than I am, because you got all these Eddie guitars and stuff. And he goes, oh yeah, I do pretty good. So he started playing, and I was like, oh my God. And then I looked at him and I said, hey man, I could really belt out the Van Halen and stuff. He's like, really? And he mic'd me up, and he recorded me, and he was blown away.
Wow.
He was like, oh my God, you sound incredible. So anyways, we kind of talked and everything. I bought the guitar, I paid him, and I said, hey man, let's go ahead and keep in touch. Maybe we can do something later on. And then about 4 months later, I contacted him, and he was playing, and he plays in this 80s band called 80 Do.
Okay.
And he played it on the Rocks in Garden Grove, and they do a couple of Van Halen songs, and he invited me up on stage. And we did Panama, we did Ain't Talking About Love, and we did, let me see, You Really Got Me, and we did Jump.
Wow.
And we kind of brought the house down.
Wow.
Everyone was just kind of completely blown away, and it just kind of blossomed from there.
And now let me ask you, because one thing that how I found out about your little band is I seen an ad for an upcoming gig. I guess it's going to be your first show, a couple weeks at the PCH Club in Long Beach, and
yes, October 30th.
October 30th, the day before Halloween. How cool is that for your opening show?
We are stoked. We are psyched. We are preparing, and we are. Let's put it this way: we are going to bring the heavy artillery.
Well, I can't wait to see it. Now, one thing that really interests me about the band is you were sharing with me when we were preparing for this interview just last night that the band is obviously called As Is, and you told me part of the reason that is, besides it being a song off the band's latest album, A Different Kind of Truth, is the fact that you guys don't get dressed up and try to look just like the band members. So I was kind of curious why you guys decided to go that route, since so many other tribute bands have gone that route.
You know why? Is because everyone else is doing it. And I got no problem with the other bands doing it. I've seen the Atomic Punks. I've seen Eruption. I've seen Van Halen. I've seen a bunch of those bands, and they're really good, and I really love what they do, and I have the utmost respect for them. But it's just something that me and the guitar player were talking about, and we're like, you know what if we just got up there and nailed the Van Halen stuff and just kind of did it without dressing up and stuff? And I go, you know what, we should call the band As Is, because As Is means come as you are. And that's pretty much what we're doing. We're coming as we are. We are a group of, good-looking guys. We're not overly good-looking or anything.
Yeah.
But anyways, we get up there, we represent, and we put on a good show, and we got a pretty good stage set up. We got really good equipment, and we rock the house.
Wow.
I think that a lot of people are going to be pleasantly surprised.
Well, I can't see what. I can't wait to see what kind of response you guys get, because I will tell you, Timmy. I love those other bands that get dressed up as a band, but I will tell you, I think this might be a thing that'll work in your guys' favor for the simple fact, like you said, a lot of times when you have a tribute band, you have to have a little something, a little niche, if you will, or something. And I even just talking to you and doing the interview, I can hear you talk like, as is, come as you are. I think that's like a great attitude for the band. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask you about in regards to that is when I'm on the Facebook page, of course, I understand you guys haven't played your first gig yet, but another thing I noticed was there weren't really any photos of the band up there yet, per se. Is that for the simple fact you guys are trying to kind of keep a little bit of a mystique as far as what the band looks like, except, obviously when people come to the show, they're going to see you? Or will we start seeing more photos of the band as you do more shows?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, we will start posting more photos. We will probably wind up wanting to do a photo shoot after the show.
Yeah.
We are very humble. We do not have egos.
Yeah.
And that is one of the reasons why we click so well with each other.
Great.
And we have the utmost respect for all of the other bands out there, whether it's a tribute band, whether it's a cover band. Just the fact that you're waving the flag of rock and roll is awesome, because I went to the Foo Fighter concert. Well, actually, I went to both nights last week at the Forum.
Wow.
Took my daughters there and everything too. And something that I started thinking about was like, man, who's going to carry the torch for rock and roll?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. When you think about it, the Stones don't have many more years.
Yeah.
We don't know how much longer Van Halen's going to be doing their thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great rock bands that they're going to stop touring. They're going to stop doing albums because they're getting older.
Yeah.
It's a part of life.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And there's some really good rock bands out there, but there's not any that are can hold the torch like the Foo Fighters and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of good metal bands out there. Don't get me wrong. I mean, come on. We got Metallica. We got all these other bands and stuff. We got Godsmack and everything. But it isn't like it was.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah.
70s, 80s, and 90s, man. There's a lot of one-hit wonders.
Yeah.
They're getting their money and they're getting out. And some of these kids, they don't even know how to play instruments.
Yeah.
It's all techno.
Yeah.
It's created. Nothing's raw.
Oh, I hear you. Manufactured. What's a record deal? What's a record store?
Exactly. It's like what the hell is going on?
Yeah. And another thing that you really piqued my interest about your band is, as is, going back to that, just the title of the band is, I thought, how cool is that? Typically a lot of, especially Roth era tribute bands, they just play, from a debut album like up to 1984, and a lot of them don't even play anything off A Different Kind of Truth. That I thought, okay, this is going to be a band that's willing to play everything that Roth has played on as far as the Van Halen stuff. And I thought, how cool is that? Because there aren't a lot of bands out there doing that.
Yes, we will be doing that. We probably will not do a Different Kind of Truth song on the opening night. Okay, because a lot of people. Excuse me. Throat's a little rough.
I understand. Yeah.
But anyways, what a lot of people, it's kind of funny, is there was a lot of people that didn't even know that Van Halen had cut an album in 2012 called A Different Kind of Truth.
Oh, yeah.
And that album won Comeback Album of the Year.
Yeah.
That album, from top to bottom, there's all these people that are saying, oh, it's a bunch of stuff that they wrote from a long time ago. Well, dude, come on, man.
Yeah.
Of course it is. It's from a catalog from a long time ago. But you know what? There's about 4 or 5 songs on that album that's not.
Yeah. Let's just go down the list of some of the songs on that album. I mean, okay, let's. The obvious one to start with is "Tattoo," the first single, one that opens the album. Now, the first time I heard that song, I'm not gonna sit here and deny. I loved it. I thought it was a great track, great thing, for a band coming back, trying to get on the radio or whatever. Perfect choice, I felt. A lot of people don't agree with me, but I even thought it sounded like it could have been on a David Lee Roth solo album. Kind of had Roth's attitude. But then you have songs like You and Your Blues, Stay Frosty, As Is.
Stay Frosty is the precursor to Ice Cream Man.
Oh yeah, you could hear that.
That song.
You can hear that, no doubt.
I mean, Diamond Dave is, some of the stuff that just comes rolling out of that guy's mouth is a mind blower.
Yeah.
You just listen to it and you're like, I can't believe how this guy just rattles his stuff off.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. But there Honey Baby Sweetie Doll.
Beats
Out of
Working.
Space,
Beats
As
Working.
Is,
Yeah.
Big River. I mean, you know, Blood and Fire. Blood and Fire has one of the most incredible solos with Ed and Alex going back and forth on that song. And if you listen to it and you crank it up, you will be stunned, because that album, as far as I'm concerned, it's one of my favorites. You could easily take that album and put that album in between Women and Children First and Fair Warning.
Oh, yeah.
Very easily.
Yeah, and
it is rough and it is raw.
And the thing with that album too is you know, for all the crap everybody, you know, a lot of people, I should say everybody, but a lot of people say about Roth these days, oh, he's not singing like he used to or whatever in his heyday. You know, if you listen to how heavy, you know, some of those songs are, like even take a track like you know, Chinatown. You know, for a guy to be able to sing at that, you know, those high notes at his age and stuff, you got to give the guy credit.
You know how much Jack Daniels that guy drank?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. The guy's voice isn't going to be perfect.
Yeah.
His voice was never perfect to begin with. You know, the guy basically, I don't know. Well, some people know, some people don't.
Yeah.
Okay, Roth has never been known as a singer.
Yeah.
There are some songs that are on his albums, they're on the Van Halen catalog, that basically highlight his voice.
Yeah.
Okay? First album, Little Dreamer. You listen to that one.
Yeah.
Okay? Second album, Women in Love.
Wow.
Third album, you got
Everybody Wants Some.
I would say, well, you got, but like things, like songs that like highlight his voice, you could probably say Just a Simple Rhyme.
Okay, yeah.
You know, fourth album, Fair Warning.
Okay.
Push Comes to Shove. Okay. Diver Down, Secrets.
Okay.
I would say 1984. You could take probably I want to say probably I'll Wait.
Yeah.
Those songs are songs that highlighted David Lee Roth's raspy voice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's very soulful, and he is a blues singer by nature.
Yeah. And now Timmy Lee Roth there. If you don't mind me bringing up a little Van Halen trivia, I was curious if you happen to know. For years he didn't receive a credit, but do you have any idea who co-wrote the song "I'll Wait" with Dave?
You know what? Why is that?
Okay, I'm gonna throw you for a loop here because
Answer it for me. Answer it.
I think you're gonna be shocked to hear this because I was when I read this, but it's a well-known fact now, and you can look it up off the internet after we get done with this just to assure yourself that I know what I'm talking about. Michael McDonald, the singer.
Michael McDonald from Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, exactly. And
you know what? I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And the funny thing is, when I read that, like you said, I went back and listened because even initially, I remember when I got that 1984 album, that was the one song on there that sounded the most different from all the other tunes. And now that I know Michael McDonald was involved with the writing, yeah, it does kind of sound like a Michael McDonald's solo song or something. And I guess he actually went down there and wrote the thing with Dave. And
I remember when the 1984 album came out because it's kind of a funny story. The album came out December 10th, 1983.
Yeah.
And me and my buddy, we went down to the Music Plus in Belmont Shore.
Music Plus, I remember it, yes.
Okay?
Wow.
And check this out. So we walk over there, and the girl's putting the price tags on the 1984 cassette.
Wow.
Now, I'm not going to tell you who my friend was.
Okay.
I'm not going to throw him underneath the bus. But he did grab one that didn't have a price tag on it. He put it in his pocket. I paid for mine.
Cool, man.
We basically walked out the door. We get into his Chrysler LeBaron, and we start driving, and we stick that cassette in.
Wow, how cool.
Of course, released on MTV about 2 weeks prior. Was the first out, was like the first song. And then it went into Panama, and it went into, Top Jimmy and everything.
Yeah.
Man, but when it got to side 2, Hot for Teacher came on.
Oh, yeah.
It got serious in a hurry.
Yeah, how cool.
And then one of my favorite songs, which is a song that we'll be doing when we do our next show, but not the show on October 30th. Is we're going to be working on Girl Gone Bad.
Oh, how cool is that? Yeah.
And that song is one of my favorites. That is deep cut stuff. That's what we do. We like doing the deep cut stuff. We're talking like Full Bug, Take Your Whiskey Home, Lost Control, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I'll admit, Timmy, that I'm one of these guys that, as far as being a Van Halen fan, I kind of love it all. I'm not. I think there's no arguing that Van Halen with Dave and Van Halen with Sammy are two different, totally different bands. But
two different bands.
But of course, talking about David Lee Roth, he is the original. So there's something to be said, for that. But one thing I always dug about him as a songwriter, I mean, I'll say in some cases Sammy Hagar may be a much better songwriter as far as, you can listen to a Sammy Hagar song and most of them have, kind of a story to tell. But what I loved about Dave's lyrics, from day one is they're kind of, in his own little style. Like you take a song like Panama, and I've heard Alex in interviews, say over, several times, I'm like, first time we heard that song Panama, we had no idea what the song was even about. I mean, I heard Dave in another interview saying it was about smoking pot or something. And a lot of times his lyrics don't make sense, but they fit the song. They fit what he's doing. It fits his personality, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. Most definitely. Some of his lyrics, they don't make any sense, but you know what? It's the voice and the attitude.
It's art. Yeah, it's the art of it.
It really is. It really is, and that's what personifies David Lee Roth. I mean, there's only one David Lee Roth.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Who's David Lee Roth? It's just like Mick Jagger. There's only one Mick Jagger. There's only one Steven Tyler. There's only one Robert Plant.
Yeah.
These guys are legendary frontmen.
And that's why Diamond Dave, a diamond in the rough, I think that's a perfect name, nickname for him, Diamond Dave. It just fits him so well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and now, another thing I gotta tell you, but I dig about the concept of your As Is band is, a lot of the trippy bands I've seen, they do dress the part of the band. Now, one band that stands out to me is there's this band called Project UFO. And they, like you guys, they do not dress up as, like Michael Schenker and other members of UFO.
I love UFO. I just saw Michael Schenker at the Canyon Club.
Yeah.
Oh, God, what was it? Like they're talking about March or April. In fact, I'm looking at one of my guitars. I got a Michael Schenker Dean.
Wow.
Black and white flying V sitting here in front of me.
Yeah.
Love Michael Schenker and UFO.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, Timmy, if you ever get a chance to see this band, Project UFO, they're probably right now the premier UFO tribute out here. I mean, I can't think of too many other tributes, but I have seen this one, Project UFO, and like you guys, they don't dress up the part, but it seems to work for them, and I'll tell you why in their case, because I can honestly tell you that I'm not a huge UFO fan, but I'm a big fan of a lot of the stuff they did in the 70s when Michael was with the band. And I was surprised, first of all, when I went to see this band, Project UFO, how many UFO songs I actually knew.
You know what? I know. I went ahead, before I went to the concert, I hooked up with a buddy of mine that I hadn't seen in like, we're talking like 21 years. I hooked up with him on Facebook, and we went to the UFO, the Michael Schenker concert.
Yeah.
And Don Dawkins went ahead and opened up with an acoustic set, and he did a really good job. Love Don Dawkins.
Yeah, how cool is that? But getting back to this Project UFO, the reason I think it worked for them, it was okay. Let's be honest. UFO was never, even in their heydays, huge in the United States as they are in Europe.
Right.
And so a lot of people have heard these songs, But when you think of UFO, a lot of people typically think, they don't even necessarily think of Pete Way, Phil Monk. They think of Michael Schenker. That's the face. That's the iconic figure in that band. And so with a band like that, people have heard these songs, but they're not really familiar except for one guy in the band. So they don't necessarily need to dress the part. And the interesting thing was, this was the first time this band ever performed. I went to their first performance, and I kid you not, they had everybody in the house on their feet rocking, and I just never seen anything like it. So I hope you guys can have the same kind of performance on your opening night.
That is the plan, my man. That is the plan.
Yeah, and then I could talk to you all night, Tim, but I know you got to go. Before I go, the last thing I kind of want to touch base on is as far as your instrumentation. I know you guys don't dress up like we were saying, obviously, as is. You come as you are, but do you try to have like a guitar that looks like Eddie Van Halen's, or again?
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I have 4 of them myself, and Dave, the guitar player, probably got 10.
Oh, okay.
And then we also use 5150 amps.
Cool.
Marshall cabinets. We have all of the, Phase 90, the EVH Phase 90, the Pinnacle Wampler, everything. We've got the whole thing. I think that everyone is going to be, first off, I think everyone's going to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
And it's all about having a good time.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why I'm excited, because again, there are plenty of other great tributes out there to Van Halen. I mean, I would say the Atomic Punks, they got to be the longest running one out here.
Sure.
You've got Van Halen and there's another one, Vintage Halen. But again, you guys are the latest installment. You're the latest chapter. And when a new tribute to Van Halen forms like what you guys are doing, it's kind of an opportunity for somebody else kind of to be crowned, the greatest Van Halen tribute. There's room in it for everybody. That's the beautiful thing. But I think again, you're offering the fans a little something, different than what these other tributes have been offering.
Most definitely. I love and respect all the guys.
Yeah.
Derek Fuller, Brian Geller, with Alice Strada, one of the guitar players for Eruption. All those guys. Eric Smith, Eruption. I mean, I have nothing but the most respect for what those guys do, because when those guys play, they really do bring it.
Oh, yeah,
They really do bring it. Mike Thompson, when he was a drummer for Eruption and for Van Halen, I mean, he had a full double bass, black and white, Fair Warning tour, Diver Down tour, drum kit, I mean, the whole thing. They do the 9 yards.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and, down the line, we're going to go ahead and try to imitate the stage shows and all that kind of stuff. But, we are as is, which means come as you are.
And now, of course, this is obviously a David Lee Roth era tribute, but I was curious, as a guitar player, when they did that song Pound Cake, with Sammy Hagar, I was curious, did you ever, have you ever practiced, tried to learn how to play that song, with the drill bit in that?
What's funny is Dave and I did that today.
How cool.
Pound Cake. He knows how to play Pound Cake. He's got the drill with all the stripes on it and everything. He knows how to play it. I can sing Sammy, but Sammy, if I'm going to do any Sammy and I'm going to bring that to the act, Sammy's probably something that I'm going to have to do towards the end of the show. And the reason why is because Sammy sings at such a different octave that if I start out with Sammy, it's really going to be rough on the vocal cords.
Yeah,
definitely.
And again, this is your band, so it's all up to what you want to do with the project. But another thing you could do, because I actually interviewed this guy before from AC/DC tribute, and he was telling me in his band they had a guy that would, for half of the set, would do the Bon Scott stuff, and they'd have another guy the second half come out and do the Brian Johnson stuff. So you could you could even get another guy. I don't know if you would want to do that, to do the Sammy stuff.
What, Dave, what's really funny is Dave can sing Sammy Hagar.
Just doesn't want to. Yeah.
Yeah. He really can. So we even kind of talked about that a couple of weeks ago and stuff. And I mean, that's like something that we'll probably cross that bridge when we get to it. But it's definitely something that we did talk about.
Yeah, you know, down the line, definitely. I mean, but I would definitely encourage you to kind of you know, give that some serious consideration, because again, right there, you're giving people a little something that they're not getting from these other tributes. So we got this big show coming up on the 30th. So are you guys booking more shows as we speak, or is it all a matter of seeing how this first show goes and then you'll?
You know what? We're gonna book more shows. This is the big show. This is like opening night.
Great.
And stuff. So right now, this is the only show that we have scheduled. We're not scheduling any shows ahead of time. I do sing Van Halen songs for the band 80 Do whenever they play locally.
Oh, cool.
So if you want a little teaser, if you come out and see 80 Do, they play a lot of times at On the Rocks in Garden Grove. I'll like come up and like sing maybe, you know, anywhere from 2 to 4 Van Halen songs. The only two people that are in 80 Do that are in As is basically me, the lead singer, and the guitar player. Everyone else that's in 80 Do, they are not a part of As Is. So we have like a complete different lineup, and so I just don't want people to show up and go, oh, well, if you see 80 Do, well, then you've seen Van, well, then you've seen As Is, because no.
Oh, okay. And now let me ask you, let me ask you, Timmy, as far as singing these songs, I mean, as a fan listening to these Van Halen records all these years, you know, a lot of the raw stuff, you know, it seems like pretty simple type songs to sing, but were there any of it were hard to learn how to sing, or any of it gave you trouble, or?
You know what? I'll tell you. The ones they really don't give me too much of a hard time to sing. I could sing any of them. One of my favorites is Women in Love.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I pretty much have the screams down as well. So you're going to get a lot of that. You got to be careful when you're doing those screams.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why Diamond Dave doesn't do a lot of that screaming and stuff when he's on tour right now.
Wow, yeah.
It's because it is hard to do, let me tell you. You kind of got to get to a whole different level. But, you know, I mean, as far as like, I think that some of the songs that are the hardest ones to do are the songs that are on the Different Kind of Truth album.
Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, As Is, that song As Is, that's the song. That's the first song that we're gonna learn off of that album, because hence the name As Is.
Yeah.
Okay. But like songs like Out of Space and Honey Baby Sweetie Doll and Chinatown. I mean, there's some serious there is some serious gibberish going on during those songs. Yeah. But if you dissect them and everything, they actually do kind of make sense. Some of them it's like kind of comical. It's the truth, like Stay Frosty and some of the stuff that comes off of Out of Space and As Is, like As Is basically yesterday I was a bum and broke, today I am a star and broke in this town. That's called progress, and that's what we call As Is. I've been rich and I've been poor. Rich is better, totally better, requires a degree of acceptance, I must accept As Is. You try to roll that through a song at that pace.
Yeah.
That is hard, man.
And
that is hard because that song goes at a furious pace.
Wow. Yeah, you know, you never stop and, you know, think about that stuff, but it's interesting that it goes all into putting on a, you know, show like this. I imagine that the first show you guys are going to probably be playing all the expected, you know, Van Halen hits. But once you guys start doing more and more shows, any chance you'll be getting into any of the deep cuts?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Full bug. Are you kidding me? That's like in Timmy's top 5.
Okay, Timmy's top 5. I love it.
Take your whiskey home. In a simple rhyme. Let me see what else. Girl Gone Bad.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Now, and I think just another suggestion. You could kind of go both ways with this idea here, but being that the name of the band is As Is, I think after a while, people are going to come to the show, and you're obviously going to be expected to have that song in the set list. And
oh yeah, without a doubt.
And you could either do it one of two ways. You could kind of like start the show off that way, and As Is, and this is kind of who we are, and welcome to our show. Or you could kind of even end the show that way and say, hey, thank you for coming as you are. This is our, final song. Hope to see you again. There's a great, I don't know if you had a chance to see, but there's a great Whitesnake tribute out there now called Burn. And
yeah, you know what? I've heard of them, and I heard that they're really good. And if there's a singer that can nail David Coverdale, that's a feat within itself.
Yeah, that's the guy.
David Coverdale.
Yeah.
David Coverdale is amazing.
That's the guy, and let me tell you, I've been to several of their shows, and actually, the amazing thing about it is the singer and the guitar player, especially, because the guitar player is really influenced by John Sykes, who was a guitar player in Whitesnake at the time of that 1987 album and the Slide It In album, and he wrote a lot of stuff. And he dresses the part of Sykes, and then the singer tries to, look and sound as close as he can to Coverdale, but the thing was, every time I went to see that band, you close your eyes for a minute, and you'd almost swear to God you're listening to David Coverdale in the room singing to you. You'd almost.
You know what? That is incredible, because I will tell you a quick little story.
Yeah.
When Def Leppard was doing their Pyromania album, and they were working with Mutt Lynch.
Mutt Lange, yeah.
Mutt Lynch. That's a bar in Newport Beach. Anyways, Mutt Lange. They were working with Mutt Lange, and they were in the studio. And lo and behold, Whitesnake was like in the studio right next to him.
Yeah.
And basically, David Coverdale did the whole album in one take.
Wow.
And then walked out. And that was the Slide It In album.
Yeah. But getting back to this.
It was like upset.
Yeah. But getting back to this Burn tribute band, man, they are just so remarkable. Anybody hasn't seen them, I really strongly urge you guys to go see out them.
Nice. Definitely have to check that out.
And like I was telling you, they almost every time I've seen them, they start off with the song Burn, which oddly enough is not a Whitesnake song. It's actually a Deep Purple song, but he sang that song, and it's a great way. I told the guitar player Jeff to start your show off, because it kind of lets people know, okay, hey, this is who we are, and then you kind of get into the rest show. But the other thing about Burn, every time I've seen them, I have not, I never left a show like, oh, I wish they would have played Here I Go Again or Still the Night. They played every song, that I wanted to hear, and so I left feeling satisfied. And I think, that's, if you got the talent in the band, even if you're a tribute band, you can give your audience a special night to remember.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Well, Timmy, again, I could talk to you all night, but I just want to say before I let you go, thanks so much for taking time to do this. I really appreciate this, and I am going to do my best. I really want to come down and see the show. You guys are playing here on the 30th, and there's really no excuse not to, because I literally live 5 minutes away from the place where it's going to be, the PCH Club. And let me just tell you, talking to you, you're bringing up Music Plus, Long Beach. I know exactly the store what you're talking about, because I don't live too far from there. But I hope we can keep in touch, because just talking to you, a lot of the guys like you I interview, I like to stay in touch with them. And I was thinking, right off the bat, maybe after you've had a chance to do the first show, I'd like to hit you up again for another interview, kind of find out how the first show went, and we can talk about some other stuff. But I really enjoyed touching base with you, and I look forward to being friends and talking in the future.
Most definitely, Jason. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, take care, my friend. And